do they not want to be on the board because they don't want that extra scrutiny on themselves?
That seems to be what's coming through. Here's the background. Of course, Microsoft has invested $13 billion in OpenAI. Take your mind back to November of last year. That's when Sam Altman, of course, the CEO at the time of OpenAI, was dramatically ousted. It was Satya Nadella of Microsoft who then engineered his return to OpenAI. And he was reappointed a few days later, but with a very different board. In fact, only one previous member of the board remained. Microsoft then got this observer seat. So they've had that since November. Here's the quote I think is interesting from Microsoft then. They said, over the past 8 months, so since November, we have witnessed significant progress from the newly formed board and are confident in the company's direction. We no longer believe our limited role as an observer is necessary. What you're pointing to, though, Francine, correctly, is that probably doesn't tell you all of the story. There is this regulatory scrutiny. We have Microsoft now not taking up this board seat. Neither is Apple, as we mentioned in the introduction to this, because Apple have done this partnership with OpenAI, embedding OpenAI into some of Apple's services as part of Apple Intelligence. So really important as well. So both companies deciding they're not going to take those board seats at this point.
So the fact that they're not taking board seats, what does that mean? Does it make it less safe, or is it just that actually they don't want to be involved with OpenAI directly?
Yeah, that's also a good question. Do they want to have that scrutiny? Because we know there's been some controversy around Sam Altman. That's what led to his ouster in the first place. There are some who are concerned that he's pushing too quickly, too fast on his technology. They don't have the board seat, maybe they don't have their insight. OpenAI say they're going to have a different structure to keep their major investors and Microsoft and Apple informed. So they say, don't worry about that. But in terms of the regulatory scrutiny, it's coming from both sides, Europe and the US. So the US are looking at an antitrust consideration when it comes to Microsoft and its dominance, the alleged dominance in terms of generative AI. In Europe, they are also looking at the extent to which competitors of Microsoft are feeling the pressure, particularly as Microsoft starts to embed some of OpenAI's abilities. It's a symbiotic relationship between Microsoft and OpenAI. Microsoft are using OpenAI's abilities in things like Windows and Copilot. OpenAI are using Azure, Microsoft cloud service, to build out their models and their products. We are also getting a bit of scrutiny in the US over Microsoft's deal with Inflection as well when they absorb part of that team. So it's a reminder, this is a land grab for resources, as land grab for talent, and regulators are paying close attention.